Hey, it's Sebastian from the Metal Gods Meltdown, and today I am joined by
Rick Hughes.
Great to be chatting today. Redemption, the title alone evokes a reckoning. What demons were you exposing in this record?
Well, it's not that. The way I see it is why I wanted to call my album Redemption is because I'm in a place in my life where I'm a very happy guy. I'm a very easygoing, lucky kind of guy, and the reason why that is that I'm the kind of guy that introspects all the time. I never try to put blame on others. Try to blame others for my misfortune. I always introspect it. So let's say during the day I have a conflict with my wife. Well, later on during the day I will think about that and I will redeem myself. I will forgive myself for doing so, and I will act better. So I guess when I was 20 years old, I was talking about taking charge and getting up in the face of people who don't agree with me and stuff. But I've changed now. Now I'm in another place in my life, and I wanted to make it clear.
Cool. And I understand that fully. I mean, a little bit older than me, but yeah, I understand how you change and your ideas and thinking changes. Yeah, you're like, oh my god, a few years ago I might have like punched your lights out, but not now. Yeah, it's that sort of attitude. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And another thing is that, as you can hear, I'm French speaking. I live in Quebec, Montreal, near Montreal. It's French speaking, so I speak French all the time to my wife, my kid. Rick Hughes is my real name. My ancestors were from Scotland,
right.
Ireland.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
And they traveled here like 75 years ago, but it's not a stage name. It is my real name. So I was happy when you told me you were in Scotland. I love Scotland. I was there. I toured there with Motorhead back in the days.
So you released your cover of The Who's "Real Me." What made you choose that song? Are you a big fan of the film forThe?
Oh yes, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of everything. UK. I mean, Zeppelin, The Who, the Stones. I mean, too many to mention. Deep Purple, Ozzy. Ozzy. I was so sad when he got sick and when he passed. But the idea came when I was talking to my manager and we wanted to have a cover on the album. So it was either Zeppelin or The Who. So we went with The Who, and with the connection of the redemption, the real me. What I was talking earlier, this is the real me right now. Rick Hughes, 60 years old, is finally himself. So when it was time to record, we already had built some bridges with Brad Gillis, because he wrote a couple of songs on the album. I had I'm very lucky that he offered me a couple of songs, and I as soon as I heard the songs, I said, yeah, I want to have those songs. So it started a working relationship with him. So when it was time to record the song, the real me, we asked Brad, and he said yes. And we came up with the idea of reuniting him with the amazing Tommy Aldridge and the also amazing Rudy Sarzo. And as they say, the rest is history, and it's part of history now. And I didn't intend it to be historical, but it is.
Of course,
because
it is.
Because last time they had played together, the three of them was with Ozzy back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm. On the Speak of the Devil tour, or the Speak of the Devil era, actually. And I mean, that must have been one hell of a collaboration where you like having to pinch yourself that you guys were there, all of you.
Absolutely. Because there's between those guys and I, there's like a 10, 15 years difference. So when I was 15 years old, I would go to the Montreal Forum and watch those guys play. And I was wishing that one day I could get close enough to do what they were doing. And then you fast forward to today, well, not only I'm close enough, I'm rubbing shoulders with them, and they're playing on my album, and we're doing a video together. So yeah, not only did I have to pinch, when we shot the video, I had to pinch myself that it was for real, but I had to talk to myself and say, don't ask stupid questions. They've been asked the same questions for years. Don't be that guy. So I was not that guy. I kept it formal.
Cool. And I love the fact, like, you all look still so youthful and still so vibrant, and especially Tommy. I mean, he's 70 years old. That's unbelievable, isn't it? Where he gets the energy and vibrancy to still be able to do what he does, yeah?
Yeah, that's what you call a natural. This guy's a natural. You know, recording the track, that's one thing. But when you do a video, you do it all day. So Tommy got there, as a drum tech was not available that day. So we kind of were all drum tech to Tommy Aldridge. Imagine that.
Wow.
And he was all smile and he was all happy talking about stuff. And me, I was just quite, I'm in awe with him. I mean, Tommy Aldridge is like John Bonham and Tommy Aldridge are the two rock drummers of course. You know? So he was so cool. And then we start to do the video, and we shot it all day. He never took it down to 7 or no, it was 10 all the time. He would play the drums like if we were in front of 10,000 people. This guy's amazing. I got so much respect for those musicians, Rudy, Tommy, and Brad. That not only were they professional gentlemen, they were very, very, very kind to me. They made me feel like I was part of their team, you know?
Do you think there'll be like a possibility of a future work collaboration with the guys? Maybe an Aussie cover even?
I really hope so. But hey, let's talk about Brad. Brad's got Night Ranger. Night Ranger is such a good band. They got plenty of ammunition. And they'll be playing for a long time because their song are ageless. Same goes with Rudy. Rudy's with Quiet Riot, so he's got his hand full with Quiet Riot. So I don't want to disturb the force, you know. Okay. I'm in gratitude that they accepted to play on the album, to play in the video. If something else comes about in the next month or the next year, then I will thank again my lucky star.
Cool. All right. So let's go into the album properly now then. So you blended English, French, and bilingual tracks. Was this linguistic fusion a rebellion against genre boundaries or a tribute to your roots?
What a great question. That's the first time it was asked like that. And I always answer the same thing. The reason why there are a couple of French songs on the album is because I'm a very, very loyal guy. I'm loyal to my girl. I'm loyal to my dogs. I'm loyal to my kids. I'm loyal to my friends. And I'm loyal to my fans. So I've been working. I've been blessed that I kept working in showbiz for the last 40 years. But for the last 20 years, I've been working here in Quebec as a hired gun, as a backup singer for TV shows, for movies, to sing songs, and it's always in French. So I built up quite a fan base here in Quebec. So I didn't want to leave them out of this project. I wanted them to have a part of it. And as time goes by, I realized that when you listen to a band like Rammstein, it's in German, but it sounds great.
It does, yeah. I
wouldn't change a thing. No. So there's the songs that are in French on the album, they sound perfect in French. Mm-hmm. I could have the time to write the lyrics in English and just adapt them. But I said, no, let's keep it like that. My manager went, well, you want to do English or French? I says, I want to do both. I have a lot of English fans around the world. We'll please them. And we got some French fans here in Quebec and abroad in France, and we'll please them as well. And at the same token, those who are English and don't understand, well, they're going to catch a couple of words here and there, and they'll find it exotic, if one thing.
Can you tell us a little bit about, I'm probably going to say this wrong, Dans le Pieu? That's a favourite of mine.
Yes.
And the ideas behind that track.
Oh, man. Well, thank you for saying that. It's one of your favorite. Dans la peau, that's how you pronounce it. Dans la peau.
Dans la peau.
It means under my skin. I got you under my skin.
Uh-huh.
So, so this song was written for a French singer from France, Johnny Hallyday. Mm-hmm. He was a big star in France, and he would do shows with Amy Keys as a backup singer, and she would do duets with him. So the song was written for the both of them to hopefully so they would record it. But Johnny passed away. The song was put on a shelf, and it was offered to me.
Right.
So I'm a big fan of big fan of Johnny Hallyday. So I said, yeah, of course I want it. Can I have Amy Keys too? They said, okay, we'll try. And the next day they called me and they said, yeah, she accepted to sing the song with you. So
wow.
So then we were recording the album in Vancouver, and it's totally all style recording. We've recorded at Little Mountain Studio. Yeah. Which legendary studio. I mean, they all recorded there. Aerosmith, AC/DC, Bon Jovi, name it. It's the studio here in Canada. They told me, well, Amy wants to do it, but she's in Los Angeles, so we're going to have to find a studio in Los Angeles. I said, okay, let's do that. Let's go to Los Angeles. They called me back and said, Rick, maybe you know him, Robbie Krieger from The Doors has a studio in Los Angeles. It's got all the equipment on The Doors. I says, wait. He says, what? You had me at Robbie Krieger.
Yeah, of course.
I'm a big fan of The Doors.
I love The Doors, man. Yeah.
Oh, man. When I was 15 years old, I lost my father very young. So I brought myself up. You know, I had to quit school while my friend were finishing high school. So I would go to work to help my mom pay the rent. My brother Dan, who plays drum in storied with me, did the same thing, you know. And I felt like a stranger in a strange land everywhere I would go, because I was like a ship lost at sea. And then I started to really listen to The Doors. And the King Lizard, Jim Morrison's word, they took me out. They brought me to life, because when I started to listen to The Doors, I realized I was not alone in that state of mind. You know, that poetry, like artistic state of mind. So when we went to Robbie Krieger's studio and recorded that song, it has that feel, that Roadhouse goes, you know, it goes down, 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 and then he plays the slide. Uh-huh. So I said to my manager, I said, while Amy is doing the vocal, why don't we ask Robbie Krieger to play on the song? He says, well, Rick, you've been doing some long shot for this album, but this is a pretty long shot. I said, I know, but if we don't ask, we'll never know.
Yeah.
So he said yes. And it was a gift. It was a gift. I mean, that day I was almost crying.
I can imagine.
Because I couldn't believe my luck. So now it's done. Yeah. And now it's done. And you mentioned that song as one of your favorite. Mm-hmm. You're an English speaking person. This song is in French. It's got Robbie Krieger, Amy Keys. I mean, I'm very proud of this song.
Yeah, it's amazing. As well as another favourite of mine is that Shake My Soul. What shook yours enough to sound like this? Because that's like really like jumping on, getting a bit old for it now, but jumping on tables and dancing, yeah? That's the sort of track that is.
Well, right now, this is my favorite song of the album, Shake My Soul.
Yeah.
When I listen to my record and I get to Shake My Soul, I crank it to 11.
Yeah, totally.
It's one of Brad Gillis' songs.
Right, amazing. Also, Leanne's.
Yeah,
how did that come about?
Yeah, back in the days, with Sword, we did a couple of shows with Lee Aaron. We shared the same manager, and when it was time to have some collaboration, her name came up, and I said, "Yeah, I'd love to have Lee on the album." So my manager did the footwork for that. So again, I'm very proud to have her on the album. She's an amazing singer, amazing person. I love Lee. She's really cool.
Cool. All right. And so if Redemption, the album, were a spell, what would it summon in the listener?
You remember back in the days when I was a kid, when I was like 14, and the new Alice Cooper album would come out, my brother and I would go to the record store and we'd wait in line for it to open to get the new Alice Cooper album.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. Because we knew it would change our life. A little bit, but it would. Back then, it's the artist, it's the musician, the creator of music that would change people's lives.
Of course.
Literally.
Yeah.
Just think about Simon and Garfunkel, Neil Young, all those singers that Pink Floyd, that had those texts about mental thing, and you would listen to it and it would make you grow. So that's what I try to do with this album. Very humbly, not in a way where I'm trying to preach a gospel or anything, but just to get people's mind off their trouble for the length of the album.
Yeah.
So they can cherry pick and go, oh, this is my song. I want to listen to that song. When they're finished work and they go, oh, I'm going to listen to a couple of Rick Hughes songs just to get me back into shape. I'm going home. So that's what I hope.
Do you wish, though? I mean, the album's like drenched in the 80s hard rocking, isn't it? I would have been like, especially the video for Real Me would have been like on MTV, constant. Do you wish, like, in your heart of hearts, that you'd released this album in, say, 1984, if you could?
No, not really, because back then I was such a different guy. I mean, every 10 years we shed skin. We grow ourselves, So no, not really. I think it's the continuity of my life, I could have said my career, but my music is my life.
Yeah.
I play music all the time. Yes. Sword's got a concert on the 18th of October. We've been rehearsing like almost every day for a month. We don't need to. We know the songs. We know everything about our stuff, but we still do it because we like being together and doing our stuff and the sound, the music. It takes our minds off all things that aren't necessary. Sometimes we just keep on thinking about the same stuff and nothing changes. But once we stop thinking about them, that's when things change.
Yeah.
It's when we stop thinking, putting energy into something that doesn't need energy. So that's what music does to me. So
absolutely,
I think it's a great question, but no, I wouldn't. I don't want to go back in time, and I'm not the kind of guy who goes, "It was better before because of this, because of that." Yeah. No, I roll with the punches, and I was asked doing interviews. Lots of artists say that they're not doing album anymore because they don't sell them anymore, And I say, well, I'm not that guy. And I'll tell you why. Because it's not always about the money. Sometimes it's about where you're in your life and what you want to do. I wanted to do a new record with new songs to bring them on stage, and the best way to do it is to record them.
Of course. So what about on release day? Are the plans, and do you have anything planned for release day? I mean, with the internet world and pre-COVID, do you plan to do some sort of live stream or anything like that for your fans?
Well, I plan to travel. So the album is coming out in 24th of October. And as soon as it comes out, we're going to wait for calls. And if I get a call from Scotland or from the UK to come and do a couple of shows, I'll go. I love my two favorite places on earth, home and on a stage.
Yeah.
So I don't mind if the stage is in Scotland, Quebec, Jamaica. I don't care. As long as there's a stage and they want me, I'll be there.
Amazing. So talking about stages, I mean, you've stood on stages with so many legends. Alice Cooper, you mentioned Alice Cooper earlier. That must have been something very surreal for you to share a stage with Alice Cooper, yeah? Have you met Alice, and were you made you nervous?
You know what? Yes, we were. It was particular because he just, when we toured with him, he was fresh out of a break. He had stopped touring to clean himself, to get clean and sober. So, and we were still partying a bit, So we were told, when you meet Alice, make sure if you're drunk, don't go talk to him, because and now I understand. Back then I went, oh, okay. Now I've been clean and sober for 22 years.
Wow.
Now I understand exactly why they were. But the thing about the legends that I had the chance to rub shoulders with by being their opening act, I was very lucky when you think about it, because it was Metallica. Mm-hmm. Those guys are pro musician artists, so they make sure you have a sound check. They make sure you've been treated equally on when you're on tour with them. So that's one of the first example of how you should be with other bands. And then it was Motorhead. Lemmy was bigger than life.
Yeah.
This guy was so cool. Coolest guy I ever met in showbiz was Lemmy. Lemmy took us under his wing. We were like kids. We were in awe in front of him. And he would come, and we'd wait for him during sound check. He would go, when we finished sound check, he would come in our dressing room. Is everybody treating you right, guys? Oh, yeah, Lemmy, everything's cool. Perfect. You let me know if there's anything. Yes, Lemmy. So, just same with Alice Cooper. He was a perfect gentleman. We got sound checks every night. And so just for that, I was lucky that the ones that I did rub shoulders with were very, very cool guys.
That's amazing. Okay, then. So going back to your album, can you tell us a little bit about the formats it's going to be released in? And do you plan to have your album behind you on your wall when it goes gold? Do you plan to have it behind you?
Yeah. Oh, yes. It's already there. It's already there in my heart. It's already a gold album in my heart.
Absolutely, mate.
Because we broke all the frontiers with this one. Yeah. With all the collaboration, the songwriting, the players, and I mean, it surpasses everything I expected. Yeah. If you would have told me that having Robbie Krieger or Brad Gillis on my album, if it was a dream come true, I would say I never even dreamt that this could have happened. Yeah. To me. So I mean, dreams do come true, and sometimes things that you didn't even dream of can happen if you do the right thing.
Obviously, you've done Real Me with Ozzy's former band. If there was an Ozzy song that you wish you'd written? An Aussie song, not Black Sabbath. Is there one that you'd wish you'd written, or maybe even want to cover at some stage?
Oh yeah, Diary of a Madman.
Yeah, I love that song. Yeah. That's class, isn't it?
The vocals. Ozzy was such a persona, and he was such a good entertainer that we kind of forgot that he was an amazing singer, an amazing melodist.
Yeah.
So when you get he goes into falsetto, and then he comes back, and oh man, this song is amazing.
It is
totally amazing.
That's actually one of my favorites. No More Tears as well. I know it's a later one, but I love that song as well. You know, it's just love that. And
if you ask me which Black Sabbath song I would love to redo with the Speak of the Devil band, it would probably NIB.
How did I know you were going to say that? Yeah, that's probably actually my favorite Sabbath song from Black Sabbath and from that Aussie album. Yeah, NIB, absolutely, 100%. All right. What about touring then? Have you got any set dates? So is there anything set up? I mean, obviously you're going to be playing in Canada. Are there major hopes to get into mainland Europe? Yeah.
Well, right now we don't have any offers on the table, but I'm sure they're going to come. I already have offers for shows in 2025, but for now they're all in Canada and some in the United States. But as soon as the album comes out, I'm pretty sure we're going to get some offers to go down in the UK and in Europe and abroad. And like I said earlier, the stage is my one of my favorite places to be. So we're probably going to see each other live in year 2026.
Amazing. Okay. So if there was, I think the album title sort of gives this away, but if there was a made up song about your personality, what would it be called? Redemption.
It would be called, that's a great question. It would be a long title. It would be, It's Never What It Seems to Be.
That's a good answer. Yeah. Okay. All right. So your final question then. You've sort of already jammed with like legends, haven't you? But I'm still going to ask you this: if you could jam with any three musicians, dead or alive, who would make the list?
Oh man, Jimmy Page. That's my first one. Second one would be Tony Iommi.
Yeah.
Then it would be Richie Blackmore.
Yeah. Cool.
I'd love to sing for these guys. And then Rainbow. I mean, wow. Two amazing band with the stuff he did with Dio is amazing. And what he did with Ian Gillan, I mean, and then Ian Gillan sang on Born Again. Oh man, what an album. I love Born Again.
Well, I want to thank you so much for your time. Can you tell us why we should check out your new album when it gets released?
Well, if you're looking for something new, and if you want to take your mind off every day's asshole and the story that we keep repeating here and there all the time, grab my album and listen to it in your car or with your spouse and just take your mind off what's happening on a daily basis. Just get into the music, get into the lyrics, and it will ease your mind.